Hey y'all, give me just a second. Excuse me. Okay, now we're good. Right quick. Drink your water. Okay, so today's story time is about the time that I let somebody make me hate my job, one of which that I really love to do. So I was going to school to be a medical assistant because I wanted something hands-on. I wanted to be moving, working. I wanted something a little bit more fast-paced, a little bit more up to speed. So I started taking classes for medical assisting, and when I finished, it took them like, hello Jo. Sorry guys, my pitbull wants to be in the video. Oh Jo. This is John Oates, aka Jo. He's gonna be joining us today. Excellent. Mr. Flash, would you like to join on the other side? He's being camera shy. But anywho, back to what I was saying. So it took a really long time for me to get my externship because the organization I was working for was basically like, hey, you're doing the administrative side of this degree and we need the clinical side, and technically you can't do it while getting paid as well. So I was like, okay, whatever, that's fine, you guys figure it out, I'll just study in the meantime. Well, that also took forever, and by the time they figured out when I was going to be doing my externship, I don't even remember what happened. It was just this whole thing. So I got bored in the midst of waiting on the certification exam and waiting on my diploma and waiting for all this other stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a dental assisting class. No idea why, but I've always been fascinated by like teeth, and it's kind of like being a mechanic, which I also wanted to do. It's kind of like being a mechanic for the mouth. So anyways, I did get my certification, I did get my degree, I did pass my exam for medical assisting, I took an online course for dental assisting, I passed that, got my certification, got my x-ray certification, all that was good, got my diploma, blase blase. All I needed now, at that point, was the hands-on experience. So I went to a dental office, several of them, and basically told them, I told them the truth. I was like, hey, I've been doing administrative work and I have some clinical experience, but I'm really interested in doing dental assisting. Would you be willing to hire me? And I've completed this online course, blah, blah, blah. Some places were like, we're looking for a little bit more hands-on experience. Sorry, but this is where you can go to get your x-ray certification and this, that, and the other. Also, there's this office, so try there. So it was really cool because people were super helpful on guiding me to where I needed to go. So I did find one office. It was a branch of offices, which I interviewed at the one that was 30 minutes from the office that I would actually be working at. So I went in, I talked to the manager, and she was super sweet. She was really interested, and so she was basically like, oh, you don't have any experience. That's good. You're a blank slate. We can pretty much teach you, and that way you have that installed in you, so you don't have to rewrite anything. You can just be a blank slate. I freaking love that, because as an artist, there's nothing better than an empty canvas, because in your mind you can put 100 things on it and you're good. So with that being said, I trained a little bit. I trained with this really cool guy named Michael. He was super sweet, very knowledgeable, been doing it for 20 plus years. Freaking amazing, phenomenal person in general, but a fantastic trainer. So I was set. I felt confident. He was, teaching me the hands-on stuff, and also a few things that the online course didn't cover, which was some pieces of tools that I didn't know the names of, which he was, within like 3 days, I knew it. He made it fun so I could memorize them and actually know the material. So that was really cool. So about 4 or 5 weeks in, I was to go to the office that I was supposed to be working at. You know, went there, met the people, super sweet, really nice. So the office that I was supposed to be working in was pretty much all females except for the trainer and one dentist, who was rarely in the office. I don't even think I ever met him in person. I think he like owned the office and was retired. I don't know. Anyways, so I started working there. Met some really, really sweet people, some really great people, and I met some really crappy, shitty people. And I will never forget them. So about 3 or 4 months in is when things really started to get a little bit more intense as far as workload, because more patients were coming in. It felt like I was learning a bunch more and trying to learn these new procedures. But all in all, I kept up. It was fun. I was still going. However, I think I was there for, maybe, how long was I there? How long did I work there? 6 months? I really don't remember how long I was there. What year was I there? Dang, I guess the mind really does make you forget traumatic events. The time that I was working there was this one particular individual that was really getting under my skin. And I don't want to say she made me hate my job, but she made it very easy to hate my job. I was mostly trained by people who had been there for way more than a handful of years. So I took their knowledge as very valuable and I tried to put it into practice. But this one particular dental assistant, every time I did something, was like, hey, no, you're doing it wrong. Just an FYI, I'm going to show you how I do it. And it was really frustrating because there was one particular day where I was just like, you know what? I just really want to punch her in the face. One particular day, I have to assist this dentist, of which her dental assistant, the one that I wasn't so favorable of, was working on something, hence why I had to assist her. So I'm going to assist this dentist since her assistant is away, and she was doing a composite fill-in, and the material she wanted to use was called Fuji. Fuji is basically what they fill your teeth with if you want like an acrylic, like the white fill-in instead of the silver, which is amalgam. Anyway, but Fuji comes in a little capsule. I was taught to basically push, there's a little thing, like a little button on the end that you push down and it makes it release inside of the capsule. You then put it in the machine to mix, and then you put it in this metal gun. You click it twice or 3 times. I clicked it twice because that's how I was trained, and then hand it to the dentist so they can click it the final time to make the composite release, so they can then start putting it in and shaping up the tooth. I don't know what happened, but I had done this multiple times with this dentist and the one that I had worked with and the one that I was training with in the original office, and also 2 more dentists at another office, and none of them said a single thing. So my assumption is the way I was taught to do it, the way I was trained to do it, the way I had observed other people do it, and the way that the dentist actually told me to do it was correct. So I proceed to take my little capsule to the machine, do it on the, I push the button down on the counter, I put it in the machine, it mixes, I put it in the gun, click it twice, and lo and behold, she comes parading down the hallway with a ponytail flying in the wind, and I was like, oh Jesus, here we go. And so she stops me and she was like, oh, that's not the way you do it, I got it from here. You got what from here? So anyway, she proceeds to take the composite gun out of my hand and takes the capsule out and throws it in the trash. And at that point, I just turned away and walked into the sterilization room and proceeded to sterilize the other instruments and trays. And all the while I was fuming and just thinking to myself, if I punch her while she's assisting, it's probably going to affect the patient pretty badly, so don't do that. There was a whole lot of stuff going on in my head. However, part of me wished I would have decked her. But anyways, I'm glad I'm a different person now because that's not what we do. I wish I could have gone backwards and just grabbed her right then and pulled her aside and been like, you know what? You can tell me this later, but right now I'm in the middle of doing something right now. I've done this multiple times. Nobody's had a problem with it, so it's just you that's having the problem right now. But I didn't know any of that back then. So I go to my trainer, and even he was like, no, that's how I taught you. That's how I taught all the other assistants, because that's how I've been doing it for 20-something years. Well, not 20 years. Fuji, I'm not sure how long it's been around. But anyways, he'd been doing it for a long time. And I just was fighting myself, trying not to fight her over this stupid situation. And at that point, there was already a buildup of stuff she had said and done. So I was like, you know what? Heifer, you can have it. So, as if God could not act any sooner. 2 or 3 days after this particular event, guess who popped up in the dental office? None other than a Fuji representative. Aww. We used to get representatives all the time presenting new products or different things that they wanted to collaborate with the office on, etc., etc. So the question was raised, how do you actually operate the mixing and the proper use of that little Fuji capsule? And they brought it up and was like, oh no, if it's popped on the counter, if it's popped this many times, that could compromise the filling. And it just kept going and going and going. And then finally the representative was like, oh, it's optional. It used to be where you had to do it this way, but it's no longer a thing. It's optional. And then they just kept going. The dentist and her assistant just kept going. And finally the representative was like, there's no wrong or right. You can either do it that way or you don't do it that way. Either way, it's fine. And I happened to glance over at the dentist that I had spoke with about this, and she's just sitting there as if like she knew what I was thinking and I knew what she was thinking. And I also look over to my trainer, and he too is making the same face, and I sat there in satisfaction. I wanted to say something, but I didn't say anything. I just let it sink in. But needless to say, there was more events like these that kept happening, and finally I was just like, you know what, I quit. I'm going back to the medical side of things because you heifers are crazy. But anyway, I kind of wish that I would have held on, because I really love dental assisting. I really like the hands-on work. I like talking to the patient and building rapport, but it just didn't work out, and that's cool. But I do want to tell you guys, if you have somebody that's doing that to you and you really, really love your job, do not let them do that to you. Don't let somebody else make you hate your job. I know I always say this in like every single video, but if you love something and you're passionate about something, do it. Don't let people get in your way. And if they do, freaking steamroll the crap out of them, because at that point, what they have to say and what their opinion is of you, as long as you're doing the right thing and you know your stuff, forget what they say, because it doesn't matter. It shouldn't bother you anyway. So that being said, keep doing your passion, keep doing the things you love. Don't let anybody, including yourself, don't let that get in your way. Keep going with that. So again, I love you guys. I will see you on the next video. My website is linked below. I now have merch, so if you want to jump on that, I would be forever grateful. I still am forever grateful for your views, for just your support in general. But I'll catch you guys on the next one. I love you guys. Keep being you. I almost forgot. So real quick, I did want to put another book that I'm reading. I'm reading 2 Joe Dispenza books right now. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself is the first one, which I haven't finished. I've been procrastinating that end meditation because it involves speaking your truth out loud, and that is harder than you think. But this second one is called Evolve Your Brain. If you guys want something to truly transform your life, read this book because it is phenomenal. When I say phenomenal, it is fantastic. Dr. Joe Dispenza is one of the people I look up to most because he's just so knowledgeable, and he has a way of delivering a message in a way where your mind can digest it. It's in bite-sized pieces, but your spirit understands it sometimes before your mind. Fantastic book if you're looking for a good read. But anywho, that's all for today.